money you got.
Welcome to Fight City NYC. Check us out on the web at www.fightcitynyc.com. We're also on Facebook. My name is Ben Chan, and to my left, I've got Aris Pina. We work for CompuBox. We run the PunchZone controls for HBO. Aris, this was a weekend of upsets.
Much so.
But we're going to start off with the fighter that stole the show. He didn't unfortunately win his fight, but it was an upset in the terms of he had much more than we thought he would. I mean, I thought Erik Morales was done. I didn't think he had a lot left. I was scared when he asked for Maidana. You actually picked Morales to win the fight, and wow, is all I have to
exactly.
say. What do you think about Morales' performance?
You know, Erik Morales put on an amazing performance, defied everyone's expectations. I went with it. I said he was going to win the fight. I thought that he still had a little left in the tank, and he saw something in Maidana. You know, when it really comes down to it, this really shows maybe how ordinary Maidana is in terms of, as well as how exceptional Morales put on in his performance. Mm-hmm. When you think about it, first round, his eye got closed shut. He was beat around the ring. It didn't look like it was going to last very long. But then vintage Morales came back. He battled back. He went to war, won many exchanges, outboxed Maidana for long stretches, and put on an incredible, inspiring performance. This fight, I'll tell you right now, showed you why boxing is better than everything else. Mm-hmm. I mean, beautiful performance by both guys. Both should be commended. One of the best fights I've seen in years.
And clearly, Morales is not the same. This isn't the same Erik Morales that beat Manny Pacquiao in 2005. He's not physically the same, but mentally, he probably knows more boxing than most fighters have. He probably has forgotten more boxing than most fighters have forgotten. And it was great to, and I think I saw why he picked Maidana. Maidana just can't box yet, not on Erik Morales' level, and he saw that, and he almost outboxed him.
Well, he did. You know, Maidana is a bully. He's been the bully of the junior welterweight division. He gave Amir Khan hell. He knocked out Victor Ortiz. I mean, he's a very, very vicious, tough brawler who everyone thought was going to destroy Morales. But Morales is a smart guy, and he knows how to box. I mean, everyone remembers his wars with Barrera, Pacquiao, and the rest of them back in the day, so they never really paid attention to the technique and skill that he always had. It's always been a little underrated for Erik Morales, and he put it on perfect display right there. He boxed, he picked his shots well. And you know what? He went to war when he had to, and it brought back these memories of, WrestleMania 18 with Hogan and The Rock. You know, when Hogan's been a bad guy for many years, all of a sudden he started hulking up. We hadn't seen that in years. And when Morales got hit a couple of times, and then he jumped back and started shaking and getting crazy, the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, there were
brought
times,
back those memories, yeah.
There were times when he stood toe-to-toe with Maidana.
And he got the better of him.
Right, and it reminded me of the 12th round of the first fight with Pacquiao. When
that's another
the
one.
fight was in the bag, and he said, "Okay, now let's brawl."
Exactly.
And that's what he absorbed some.
Oh,
really
I mean, Maidana landed some right hands that would have taken out anyone in the world, and Morales just stood there. Commendable performance, great performance.
Right, and came back at him. Now, in terms of a fight, this is a fight of the year candidate.
It is.
Early. But in terms of what's going to happen in this junior welterweight division, I don't think it does much in terms of anybody rising or falling. I don't think Morales really his stock rises in the division, especially when you consider the other guys in the division and their styles and their talents. I don't think he's a good matchup with anybody else in the division.
I tend to agree with you a little bit. I wouldn't really want to see him with Amir Khan. I think Khan's too fast for him without box him. Mm-hmm. Tim Bradley's another guy. I think that'd be a good fight. Mm-hmm. I think he has a good chance against Devon Alexander as well,
really?
But I would think so.
Okay.
You know, Alexander is still a guy that kind of comes forward. He still hasn't really developed into the pro career style, unless he fights a guy like Juan Urango, who he looks spectacular against.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and definitely, I don't know what Morales has left. I mean, I didn't think he had a lot left before this fight. Where does he go from here?
I would love to see him retire, actually, to be honest with you. I think this would have been the perfect time for him to ride off into the sunset. He had a great performance, defied everyone's expectations, and this would be a great performance for him to go off by. But, we know Morales. And Morales, after a performance like that, he wants to keep on going. He'd love a rematch with Maidana. Maybe a fourth fight with Barrera would be great. But the fight I'd like to see, and I think everyone else would like to see also now, is the Mexican matchup that never was made, Juan Manuel Marquez versus Erik Morales. Everyone thought that was a mismatch before the Maidana fight. Now, I know a lot of people, including Dan Rayfield, Doug Fisher, and others, are clamoring for it. I'm all for it.
You know, I don't know if I'm as excited for that fight. I wouldn't mind seeing him again in a rematch with Maidana because I don't know where Maidana goes from here. Also, I don't know whether Marquez versus Morales is really that great of a fight because to me, Marquez is still a pound for pound fighter. Morales, you know, he had a great performance on Saturday. I don't think he's a pound for pound fighter, and I really want to see Marquez versus Guerrero, who we'll talk about later.
I would agree with that. It'd be another great fight too. Marquez has a lot of fights besides Pacquiao that he can fight with, and Morales' stock did rise after this fight, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of guys in the division that want a piece of Morales now. I'm just hoping that he doesn't become a glorified stepping stone after this. That's why I say maybe it's best just to ride off.
Right, and so the legend of El Toribe lives again.
He's one of the greatest Mexican fighters of all time, and he proved it that night.
Definitely, and I have no problems admitting I was wrong about it. So let's move on. Let's talk